Hi and welcome to Loopy Mabel's Closet. My name is Jane, and in today's video it is going to be the follow-on vlog on our swap, share, sew hashtag that myself and Rosy from Rosy Sews Modern Vintage have set up. So if you want to grab a coffee and see what I actually made, I shall see you back here in a moment. So welcome back. I'm so excited to share with you my Bloomsbury blouse, which you can see being modelled beautifully by Mabel, my mannequin. I am absolutely thrilled to bits with this sewing project, really am. I'm so pleased that Rosy chose this pattern. I've had this pattern for quite a while, the Bloomsbury pattern by Nina Lee, and never made it. I think the ruffles were making me feel a little bit hesitation, but I'm so glad she made me or chose this pattern for me, because it certainly spurred me on to make it, and I will be making lots more, I can tell you. It is so me. The neck detail, the ruffle detail is just my cup of tea. So just a little bit of a brief background onto the Swap Share Sew Challenge. If you've been watching me and Rosy on Instagram, you'll probably have seen the logo that we've been sharing with everybody, because obviously we'd love for you to join in this sewing project, sewing challenge too. So if you would like to make some sewing friends, because that's really the bottom line on this hashtag, make some sewing friends, spread the word in the sewing community, share and just have fun, and obviously sew and create, and then have a little bits of other things added to those creations that somebody else has sent you. So if you saw vlog 1, you would see that Rosy sent me some items as part of this swap, if I can say it, Swap Share Sew Challenge, and she sent me some gorgeous like cotton lace. She sent me some buttons. She sent me a sew-in label, and she also sent me a little brooch that she made me. And I'm pleased to say that I have added everything that she sent me into this blouse. I will wear the blouse later on at the end of the video. I'll pop it on, but I wanted to keep her on the mannequin so I could show you all the bits of the details of the blouse. So as I say, it's the Bloomsbury blouse by Nina Lee, and I'll just show you it's a bit dog-eared because it's been well and truly flicked and thumbed through. So it's the Bloomsbury blouse by Nina Lee. I followed the instructions to the letter, and I went for a size 14, which I was absolutely cock-a-hoop about, because I'll normally go for a size 16, but I don't know whether you know or you've been following me, but I've just about lost, I think in total so far, I think I've lost 23 pounds in total. So obviously I've gone down in size, and Mabel has been adjusted down in size. So when I was cutting it out, I just double checked the measurements, and my measurements fell nicely in the size 14 bracket. So I was really pleased about that. Well, pleased for me, because it's obviously personal to me losing the weight. So I chose a size 14 and it fit perfect. No issues at all with the sizing. It was absolutely perfect. Fits me like a glove. I was also worried, because I do have quite chunky arms, that my arms would be too tight in the sleeves, but no, absolutely fine. So the fabric I used is this absolutely gorgeous rayon fabric that I got from the lovely Rosy Fabrics, which is an online fabric store, and I'll put the link for this fabric if you would also like to get it. I'll put the link for that in the box below, so don't worry there. But it's an art gallery fabric, and it's absolutely gorgeous. I love it. It's got lots of colours that I can mix and match with other items in my wardrobe, and it's a rayon, so the drape is absolutely beautiful. Saying that, it was like slippy slidey fabric, which I didn't realise when I ordered rayon. I just thought, oh yeah, rayon, you know, another nice pretty fabric. Oh my god. Cutting it out, and I had to pin it and I just couldn't use my pattern weights. I had to pin it to the pattern piece because it just would not stay still. It was slippy slidey, and then when I was sewing it, the ruffles, it was like, oh, I was like, oh yeah, it was like, oh God, I was so frustrated because I just couldn't get it to sit still, and every time you put pins in, the pins wouldn't even stay and the pins would slip out, and I had to use those, you know, those little quilting clips. I had to use them too. So at one point I thought this was just driving me absolutely crazy, and I was so ready to give up, but then I thought there's no way I'm giving up. There's no way I am giving up, and of course I couldn't let Rosy down. So I plodded on, I put it down, picked it back up again. So over, say, 2 to 3 days, I've been making it on and off. I didn't do it all in one entire session. So I'm glad I split it up and broke it down a little bit. So let's just show you a little bit more detail. Obviously, Rosy sent me that gorgeous cream lace, and I have added it to the cuffs, the little ruffle on the sleeve. You didn't have to use, there's options in the blouse where you don't have to add the ruffle. You could just have left the plain bottom, but I like a bit of ruffle going on, so I added the ruffles and obviously trimmed it with Rosy's lace. So every time I wear this blouse, I will be reminded of Rosy in the lace, at least the lace. And then she also sent me a sew in label, which I have sewn in, and it's, well, I've sewn it in, so it's sewn in. I'll show you a little bit more detail. But then she sent me some buttons, so, and they were all because obviously she didn't know exactly what the fabric looked like in real life. She only saw from a picture, so she's obviously picked some buttons out that she thought would complement the blouse. Not necessarily for me to use them all, but I've used all the 5 buttons that she sent me, and then I've added one more because it had 6 buttons. So I've just added the button, the one at the top, then there they all are. They're all different, but they all go. There's all colours in the blouse, so they all go, and I love the fact that they're all odd and different, and I think that makes it quite quirky. And then she also made me a cute little brooch, and I had some lace left, but there wasn't enough to add it anywhere else, and I didn't want to waste it. I didn't want to add it into my, you know, haberdashery box and for it to sit there. So she made me a little, turn it the right way around, a little brooch with some little shoes and red bows on the shoes, and there's the back of it. And because I had this leftover lace, I just sat and ruffled the lace, because this is the only bit that was left, added this lace to the edge of the brooch. So every single thing that Rosy sent me, I have used in this project. I was so chuffed because I didn't want to like throw anything away or not use it. So I'm so pleased. So I'll add that obviously to the blouse, but I'll be able to wear that on all sorts of outfits, not just the blouse. So I hope Rosy doesn't mind me adding the crochet lace to the edge of the brooch that she made me. I'm sure she won't mind. And yeah, so I have 100% completely used all her haberdashery items that she sent me. So yeah, so going back to the fabric, I ordered 2 meters and I just have a tiny little bit left, so I'm sure I'll be able to incorporate that somehow in some other project, maybe as a pocket lining or maybe a contrasting collar or contrasting cuffs. So I've got a little bit left, but can you see the drape? The drape is just absolutely gorgeous, and I'll pop the blouse on and I'll show you some pictures of me wearing it as well, just to give you an idea. The only thing I found, and I don't know whether anybody's got any hints or tips for me, if you have, please let me know in the comments box below for when I use this fabric again. I found on some occasions when the needle was on my sewing machine was going through the fabric, it was making tiny little, like I don't know how you express, like little bruise marks, like it was making the fabric just like bruise. I don't know if that's the right phrase, you know, where you could literally see it just like split and like damaging the fabric. So I just wondered if maybe you should use a finer sewing machine needle. I just use the standard needle that came with the machine. I use a brother sewing machine and I just use a standard needle. So should I have used a finer needle? So please let me know for future, and then obviously I'll be more aware of that if I do make anything else with rayon fabric. Word of warning though, if you're fairly new to dressmaking, I wouldn't use anything slip slidey like this to start with, because it may well send you running for the hills, because it is a little bit of a gritty teeth type of fabric. Yeah, so it was for me. So I would maybe avoid this type of fabric until you've got a little bit more confidence in sewing. But if you're anything like me, bull in the china shop, don't even realise it's, you know, just fabric, it's pretty, oh, that'll be nice, I'll make it into something A, B or C. Don't even consider that the drape of it or the qualities of the fabric and how it's going to handle and sew. Anyway, that's another learning curve in my dressmaking. I've learned a few things so far. So yeah, so I've added the deep frill. There's a choice of adding like a narrower frill or the deep frill. I've gone for the deep because I do like ruffles, and you didn't have to add the frill on the collar if you didn't want to, but obviously again I have. So I'll just show you the back again. So it comes on like, it's like a yoke, as you can hopefully can see, and then obviously you attach the lovely ruffle, and the buttonholes worked an absolute dream on my machine. I didn't have one problem. So I did a test buttonhole on some scrap of this fabric just to make sure, and every buttonhole went on like a dream. So that was really good, because I'm always nervous about doing buttonholes. Obviously it's not going to be too hard to get on because I only have to do the top button, and they've got this gapey open section at the back, so you should just be able to pop it on, and you shouldn't have to worry about fastening all these buttons. And I just love it. I just love the drape. I love the Victorian feel to the design. I just think it is a really beautiful pattern, and the fabric is stunning. And when I tried it on last night and did a little bit of a model for my husband, even he said, wow, have you made that? Because he could not believe I'd made it. So that was nice. So I can't wait to wear it, and it's going to be well worn. I'm not going to keep it for best or anything like that, and it's going to be a staple part of my wardrobe. So I'll be mix and match with lots of winter accessories. Some of my crochet snugs I'm sure will go absolutely fine with that blouse too, and it's going to look gorgeous with my jeans and some boots in the winter. So I will definitely accessorise it up and wear it in the winter too. A couple of points on this Bloomsbury blouse. I don't know whether, if you've made this blouse and you found any issues with it, please pop your comments in the box below, because I'd love to get your feedback and your thoughts on this blouse. I did struggle with some, I've made a few notes actually, I did struggle with some of the instructions. It's probably just me, but it kept saying joining up the notches, and I could not find where the notches were. On some of my pattern pieces there was no notches to be seen at all, so I had to make my own notches. So that confused me a little bit. Yeah, the collar, this like the stand-up collar part here, the instructions, after you pinned it together, then you had to flip it over. So the instructions said fold over the collar, the collar with the facing on by 1 centimetre. So I pressed it over by 1 centimetre, and then it said attach the collars and stitch using a 1 centimetre seam allowance, which I thought was okay. 1 centimetre throughout the pattern, it's been 1.5 centimetre seam allowance, but it said 1 centimetre seam allowance, so I stitched it exactly that. But when I came to flip it over and turn it over so I could stitch it underneath, I shall show you. I'll take the blouse off the mannequin and show you. There's Rosy's sewing label too, you can see, and it says yes, I made this. So I've also got that as a little reminder of Rosy too every time I wear it. So the collar, this stand-up collar part, so I pressed over 1 centimetre like it said, and then I stitched it on using 1 centimetre seam allowance. So when I flipped this part over to either stitch it in the ditch or hand stitch it, it was way off the mark. It was way down, it was bigger It was, if I wanted to hand stitch it or stitch it in the ditch, it would have been, I would have come through way below. It was much bigger than necessary, so I had to unpick it, stitch it with a bigger seam allowance and fold it over much bigger than 1 centimetre on the interface part, and then put it all back together, and then it fit perfectly against the, you know, where it joined onto the actual blouse. And then I decided I was going to stitch it in the ditch, but I didn't want to spoil it, and cause, like I said before, the fabric tended to bruise or pucker, if that's the right word, with the needle, and I didn't want to damage the fabric anymore. So I hand stitched it, and I just did a blind hem stitch, I think it's called, all the way along. And I do like a little bit of hand sewing, so I didn't mind that at all. I love to hand sew, so I hand stitched that closed. And another issue that I also had was, one other issue that I had too much yoke going on. So when I was attaching the yoke to this bottom part of the blouse, I had too much yoke, so I had to unpick that all again. I had it all pinned. I don't think I had it stitched. I had to unpin the yoke and the ruffle. I had to unpin it, and I tuck in the shoulders, unpicked the shoulders, and there was 1.5 seam allowance, 1.5 centimetre seam allowance. I unpicked it and tuck it in. I think it was 2 centimetres in the end, to bring the yoke, take out that extra fabric in the yoke, because I just could not get the yoke to sit on the bottom part of the blouse without puckering or ruffling, or so I don't know whether I had cut it out using the wrong cutout size, or I just, maybe because the fabric slippy slided when I was cutting it out, it cut out a little bit bigger than what it should have been. I don't know, but they were the only issues I had with the pattern. Let's just see what I think the pattern recommends lightweight wovens, as for example cotton lawn or maybe a linen type of fabric would work really well. And I will, when I make this again, which I will, because it's just so my style, I would probably try maybe a chambray or a cotton lawn and see how that works. But apart from that, I mean, look at the drape. Isn't that absolutely gorgeous? And I shall pop it on, and I shall show you me wearing it, and I'll also add some pictures of me wearing it out and about to give you an idea. So here I am, stood wearing it in the garden and in the woods, and as you can tell, I absolutely love it. It just, can you see the drape, how it just moves beautifully, and the neckline and the ruffle just really sets it off. It's a proper wow piece, and it's just not your everyday type of blouse. It's just got that extra factor, I think. And also, as I said before, because it's got those little bit of haberdashery details that I've stitched in with love and care that Rosy sent me, it's now got a very special meaning for me, this blouse, because me and Rosy have now become firm sewing friends, and it's just a lovely feeling. So that was another reason why we wanted to share this challenge with you lovely people, like-minded people. So here I am, modelling my Bloomsbury blouse. Absolutely love it. Just love the detail and the neck. I just love it all. Just absolutely love it. This is just so me. And obviously, the whole idea of behind this sewing project, Swap, Share, Sew, is for you to come on board and get involved. Just like me and Rosy did, we've now become firm sewing friends. So we would like you to also come on board, join with us, get involved. We'll add you to the list. We will pair you up with some other like-minded dressmaker sewer, where you can then communicate, you can share, you can chat, you know, send each other some little items from your haberdashery for them to include in their sewing project. And it's just a great way of making friends. So if you would like to join, please let me know in the comments box below, and I will get back to you for more details. or you can let me know on my Instagram account at loopymabels_closet, or you can also have a word with Rosy on her channel, Rosy Sews Modern Vintage, or on her Instagram account, which is exactly the same name. So don't be shy, come and let me know and we will add you to the list and we will pair you up where you can make a sewing friend. How good is that? So before I go, obviously Rosy has had the exact same challenge as me and I sent her some items, so I would love it if you could go and pop over and see what she did with her Appleton dress and the items that I sent her. So I put the link for Rosy's channel in the box below, so please pop over and see her. And here's a little snippet from Rosy herself.
Hello Jane, it's Rosy here from Rosy Sews Modern Vintage. Thank you so much for my lovely parcel. I was thrilled with all the lovely bits that you sent me, and I've been having great fun making my Appleton dress and trying to come up with ingenious things to do with your gifts. I'm all finished now, so if you and all your lovely subscribers would like to pop over and see my finished article vlog, then you'd be very welcome, and I will look forward to hearing from anybody who wants to join in with our fantastic swap, share, sew adventure. As you've probably told all of your subscribers already, we have had so many people excited to join in with the project, so we'd love to get more, and if anybody wants to join in, please let us know, because we're loving making new sewing friends. Take care for now and see you soon. Bye.
So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to give me that lovely thumbs up, and obviously if you haven't already subscribed to my channel, I would love it if you could subscribe too. And if you've got any comments about the Bloomsbury blouse, have you made it? What fabric did you use? Did you have any issues when you were sewing it? I'd love to know, so please pop them in the box below. So all that's left for me and Rosy to do is do a vlog number 3, which will have a little bit more finer detail on the sewing challenge. So if you are adding your name to the list, we will let you know as soon as vlog 3 comes out with all the finer details, and then we will pair you up and then we'll go from there. So watch this space, and obviously if you follow me on Instagram you'll be kept up to date there too. But until the next time, I hope you love my Bloomsbury blouse as much as I do, and I shall see you very soon on my next vlog.